Yo, what's up? My name is SPO aka Keith. Welcome to a new series that I'm calling 10 for 8, where you get a 10-minute review for my 8 hours of gameplay. Why 8 hours? Well, I feel like I can pretty much judge a game after at least 8 hours. Anyway, enough with the introduction. Here's the first 10 for 8 review, the Diablo 4 beta. Alright, so not too many people know this about me, but I love me a good Diablo-esque click-to-kill action RPG. And anyone that I know that also likes a good dungeon-crawling action RPG most likely loves them some Diablo as well. During the Diablo Immortals BlizzCon 2018 Q&A, a lot of people felt like they were being teased and na-na-na-boo-booed by the Diablo developers, basically telling them that they weren't gonna get Diablo 4, or there was gonna be no PC version of Diablo. So, when Diablo 4 was announced during 2019's BlizzCon, it came with much joy. Then, finally, in early March 2023, there was an early access beta, if you pre-ordered. Now, I don't know about y'all, but my pre-ordering days are over, no matter how much I'm excited about a game, so I didn't do it. And from what I've seen, I'm kinda glad I didn't, because if I did, spoiler alert, this might have been a very different review. But, thank God they decided to have an open beta. Just remember, I am not a professional game reviewer. These are just my opinions and observations of the game that I played. Alright, so here's the short and sweet. Despite some pretty big hiccups on the first day, I had a great time. I had a great hunched over, staying up until 3 a.m., eyes burning from staring at the screen, sweaty, demon-slaying, nerdy-ass time. And hey, if that's all you need to make the purchase, I'm glad I could help. But if you want to know what has changed and what's new and why I had a great time with the game, then continue watching. So this is the only time you're going to hear me say this phrase. Do your research. This story has roots that go back to 1996, alright? So I'm going to kind of skim over this section because it's a bit much to go over in a short amount of time. Diablo 4's story starts 30 years after the events of Diablo 3. In a time of a power vacuum, Lilith, daughter of Mephisto, niece of Diablo, Baal, and the like, resurfaces. She goes on to cultivate the worst in the denizens of Sanctuary, leaving the world in a dark, hopeless place. Once again, I am not an expert in these games. I am just a dude that likes to play them without having a tome of game knowledge next to me. Alright, so let's get the negative out the way first. The beta was rough. The early beta was very rocky, and the open beta started off with a lot of turbulence. In fact, I had to wait 47 minutes on the first day, only to get booted off. Then, when I got to the first boss, I got disconnected. Not once, but twice. Once off stream, and then again on stream. All of which is expected, but dang, it kinda hurt. Throughout the game, I did see some bugs, all expected in a beta, and hopefully ones that won't make it to the final game because, you know, some developers are like that. There was some mild rubber banding towards the end of my time playing the beta, a little lag between the cutscenes and the subtitles that were paired with them, and while I wasn't able to recreate the incident, I did have a few times where the sound just wasn't there. None of this was game-breaking or completely ruined my experience, but those were just some quirks that I noticed. Now on to the gameplay, because if the gameplay is trash, the story cannot save the game. Ain't that right, Biomutant? So even though we'll get deeper into it later on, to be honest, if you've played any click-to-kill action RPG or dungeon crawler or literally any Diablo game, you will be familiar with the overall gameplay. Not much has really changed from Diablo 3 to Diablo 4. If you can click, you can play for real. But the details of the gameplay changes up a bit with the revamp / facelift of the skills, abilities, and other quality of life improvements. Alright, so in my opinion, This is the best skill tree that I've seen in a while. It's big, but it doesn't feel or look like it's going to be the biggest fucking part of the game. Yes, Diablo 2 did have a true skill tree, but Diablo 3 made the change of switching the tree out with a very rigid skill category, which, while disgustingly straightforward, has personally led me to feeling just a bit stuck in one path. I mean, look at this thing. This is just beautiful, in my opinion. It felt like I couldn't make a wrong decision because I had so many paths to choose from. And I hope to see this continue into the full game. Yes, while what I said earlier about if you play a Diablo game, you'll be familiar with the overall gameplay is true in a roundabout way, there are some pretty big differences. So for instance, at launch, Diablo 3 did not have a dodge roll feature, and it wasn't until the console ports were released that Blizzard decided to add one to help out the console player. And thank God it made a day one return, because boy did it help me. And it's for all the classes too. Even with the added 5-second cooldown time to the dodge roll, it truly came in handy. It made my usually slow feeling barbarian character feel just a tad bit more agile on her feet. The combat seems to be a mixture of Diablo 2 and Diablo 3 in my opinion. That 5-second cooldown time added to the dodge makes combat a smidge more strategic than Diablo 3. And if you use it too soon, you most likely gonna see that mistake unfold before you. And you can use more skills at one time than Diablo 2. Those two things combined make the gameplay a fun amount of challenging. Bruh, need I say more? These cutscenes are BEAUT full. Even the in-game ones are just, chef's kiss. Ramping up from the older games, these cutscenes are fully voiced and very well animated, and even on the lowest settings, they hold up. Diablo 4's improved build system feels a lot more open. Going off of what I mentioned earlier about the skill tree, the game really feels way more open when it comes to how you want to play or can play the game. From what I was able to play and watch, it seems that each class has a myriad of choices when it comes to skills. And while I can't go into detail about the intricacies of each skill on the skill tree, I can say that the game doesn't leave you hanging. There's a trial and error aspect to these games, and with the ability to easily switch skills, you aren't going to be feeling hard stuck after a death. I definitely feel like no matter what class you choose, you'll have a good time playing without it feeling monotonous or terribly easy or terribly hard to an unfun degree. Warning, if you have a computer that can run this game on high, by all means go for it. But if you're like me, with a regular gaming computer, I would say hold off for a second, because this game seems to be killing even the newest GPUs. For example, I have an RTX 2070 Super with an i7-7700. By no means top of the line, but I have been able to run a good portion of the newer games pretty well recently. But Diablo 4 pushed my poor little computer to its limit. It became a space heater in basically no time. So I did the recommended thing and turned my FPS cap to 60 frames per second on medium, and even with that limitation, this game looks amazing. From the things going on in the background to the textures on the environment, right down to the hair on the clothes and certain animals. It all looks so good, even for the beta. And we cannot forget about the sound. The soundscapes in this game are so good. You can hear the birds flapping away as you run around the map. The water splashes and splooshes when you walk through it. And I might have been tripping, but I could have sworn the water sounds different when the depth of the water changes. But I don't know. With my beat up little wired Apple earbuds, I felt like I could hear everything clearly. I did have to turn the music down, but I'll chalk that up to having the sound directly in my ears. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, I had a great time playing the Diablo 4 beta. The quality of life improvements in terms of game mechanics, graphic updates, and engaging cinematic cutscenes all kept me having fun and clamoring for more, even in the toughest of times. From what I can see from this beta, if you have liked any of the Diablo titles or any click-to-kill action RPG like Diablo, I believe you will fully enjoy Diablo 3. And if I had to give the beta a rating, I'd give my beta experience a solid 9, and I hope to do a more in-depth review of the full game when it releases in June. Yo, welcome to the end, Slate. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the first installment of 10 for 8. I hope to bring out some more reviews like this very soon, and hopefully the review of the full version of Diablo 4 later on in June. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the videos up here that I have left and right, and check out this music that's playing in the background. Peace.